This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
We are not partisan combatants. We are human beings, equally vulnerable and equally wonderful in the sight of God. We rise or fall together, and we are determined to rise. God bless you all.
Welcome to DBL. That was a video message from President George W. Bush's calling for Americans to put aside their partisan differences in the face of the crisis. It's Monday. May the force be with you, May 4th. I'm Tori. I'm holding it down with Al Jackson today. Look at this, huh?
Can you cheer for yourself? I think I just did.
I do every day.
This is so weird. I've been at home for a couple months, and now I'm with my friends again. Patty's over there. Smurfy's back there. Yes, we're in good. I'm feeling good.
A social distance high five?
Yay!
There we go. We, of course, are practicing social distancing, and joining us from home, you're not left out. You're just at home. Lindsay Granger.
Yes. Hey, y'all. What's going on?
I'm good. How was the safari?
It was great.
Which way are the lions? Lindsay, I want to hear your opinion on this. Even though there was that call from unity from former President Bush, President Trump actually called out the former president for his failure to support him when he needed it the most during his impeachment, tweeting, quote, "He was nowhere to be found," and speaking up against the greatest hoax in American history. Meantime, this morning, more states are beginning to ease stay-at-home restrictions. We have now at least 42 states have now partially reopened in some form. And this is more and more people have been taking to the streets protesting the restrictions in states all across the nation, including, as I'm sure you all saw, the armed protesters who stormed the Michigan Capitol last week. You got to hear Dr. Deborah Birx's reaction to those protesters. Let's take a look.
It's devastatingly worrisome to me personally, because if they go home and infect their grandmother or their grandfather who has a comorbid condition and they have a serious or an unfortunate outcome, they will feel guilty for the rest of our lives. So we need to protect each other at the same time we're voicing our discontent.
All right, I have a question for all of you guys. Lindsay, I'm going to start with you. Can we come together at all, or are we so polarized we're never going to make it? Can Bush's message come true?
I think that it should. I mean, this is not a time to be partisan. I think that everybody has the same common goal, even if they're going about it different ways, and that's to save lives and to keep Americans safe. I know that the phrase has went from stay at home, now everybody's saying safer at home. I think it's up to the individual responsibility. Like, I would love to go to the beach. I'm sure you both would love to go to the beach, go on vacation, but it's like, I understand everybody's getting fatigued, wants to go outside and get some fresh air, but you can't just hang out on the beach. Everybody wants to do that. It'll go back to being just like it was before the pandemic. So you have to just be responsible for people other than yourself. Be a little selfless, and you'll have the best outcome at this point.
I agree with you, Lindsay, but Al, I got to go to you. People are on the beach. They don't care. They are selfish. Does it mean that President Bush's message is going to just fall on deaf ears?
I mean, I think people have made up their minds. We can clearly see that. I really look at it, and Lindsay, I want to get your opinion on this. You know, like if the doctor gives you antibiotics and they give it to you and it's a 10-day cycle, you start to feel better after like the 4th or 5th day, but they say take it until the bottle is empty, just because the physical symptoms might not be manifesting, but it's still in your body. And I feel like the same thing is going on with the corona. What we're doing is working, and it's weird that we're almost pushing back on that, like, see, it's not that bad. We had a plan, it's working, and I feel like we're letting up a little too soon.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating because, I mean, I'm from New York, and I saw what was going on in New York this weekend. Like, the parks in New York were packed with people. Some of my friends were so irritated because they're doing their part to keep everybody safe, and then you have other people that can't possibly be 6 feet apart laying all over the parks. And like I said, we all want to do that, but you have to be a little bit selfless at this time in order so that we're not in the same position in the fall.
I totally agree. When we want you to write in, a lot of people writing in about what happened in New York and the differences in cultures, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on on in the show. Speaking of reopening, some Florida residents got quite the surprise when they visited the beaches. This Florida lawyer dressed up as the Grim Reaper to protest their reopening, which I thought was quite clever. He claims it's opening too soon. And
maybe he's just worried about sunburn.
He's actually quite pale. That's actually what it is. He hoped his costume would encourage people to stay at home. He even went live with one local news station, but not everyone was pleased. Someone actually called the cops on him. You can see the police officer taking down his information. DBL Nation, we want to know what you think. Does protesting as the Grim Reaper take it too far? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Take your time. We're going to get this at the end of the discussion. I've spoken to nurses and doctors from the show, and they're holding people's breath as they try and breathe their last one. Not one nurse or doctor will vote yes on this. I think it's absolutely reasonable. Al, what do you think?
Too far. We're storming the State House with M16s.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? So they're okay, but the guy in the Halloween costume from 4 years ago isn't?
Yeah, right.
We take his sickle, but leave their guns? Somebody explain this to me. I'm really stupid.
Lindsay, what do you think? Got to get your take.
I mean, this is how you push a point home. This guy is really frustrated. He's a lawyer in Florida, like you said, and he has been fighting with Florida beaches since the beginning when spring breakers were running around rampant on the beach. He was trying to sue the local beaches that still were left open at that time. So he's dead serious about this. Like, he's not just doing it for show. He really is trying to use his power the same way celebrities are in order to make people listen and do the right thing.
I think you're right. And when you say dead serious, pun intended, let's go to the
Yes.
the vote here. Oh, strong majority. Okay, 87% of you says it did. Does protesting the Grim Reaper take it too far? You said yes. Wow. All right. Right. Oh, no. So sorry. I'm sorry.
Tori, you are killing it with the graph. It's not that hard. Yes or no?
2 questions. It was 2 answers. It wasn't even hard. All right, moving on to get out of this. So far, 2020 is going down as a historically bad year. But just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, cue the murder hornets.
No.
Yep, you heard me right. Murder hornets. So for the first time ever, scientists say the Asian giant hornets have been spotted in the U.S., in Washington state specifically. So here's what they look like. They grow as long as about 2 inches. They attack and kill honeybee hives. Oh, and their venom can also kill humans if you're stung multiple times. That's where they got that great nickname, murder hornets. Their arrival has also led many folks to comment, including comedian Patton Oswalt, who tweeted, "Murder hornets, sure thing 2020. Give us everything. Hypno frogs, toilet tsunamis, a cat sequel. We can take it." Just so you know, Linz, they rip the heads off of the beehives. That's how they kill bees. They just like rip the heads off. The bees, yeah, the hornets do that to the bees. What do you think about that, Linz?
I'm laughing at everybody, including myself, who in December 2019 was like, oh, 2020 is my year. Like, it's just not. It's like too much going on. Like, enough is enough. And the fact that these bugs, I hate bugs in general, but the fact that they're 2 inches long is so disgusting to me. I can't even take it. Like, this is the worst news of all time.
The ripping the heads off seems so, like, extreme, Al. How do you feel?
What do you want them to do? Use a pistol? They have no other options but to rip their head off. First of all, when I heard murder hornets, it sounds like a small, like, liberal arts school. Like, that's their nickname, and then they were forced to change it to now they're just the Hornets.
The Hornet.
I think if you're gonna go, it's great branding. It's like, oh, you're a Hornet, who cares? Oh, you're a murder hornet. Well, here's some endorsements. I say go with the murder hornets.
Wow. All right, he's all for the murder hornets. We're gonna go with that. Singer Avril Lavigne says she's been super inspired watching Americans come together at this time. So she decided to re-record her single Warrior. Check out this clip from her new music video.
No, we won't bow, we won't break. No, we're not afraid to do whatever it takes. We'll never bow, we'll never break. 'Cause we are warriors, we'll fight for life.
Okay, Avril Lavigne, a cool like 15-year reference. Al, you still listening to Avril?
I really like the message, but it did show anti-social distancing with people packed into an arena. But I mean, the message is still there, and I mean, you know, I'm Team Levine.
You're Team Levine.
And when I say that, I mean Zach Levine, the basketball player.
Oh, great guy. Linz, tell me, are you complicated with little Avril? Are you into this?
Let me tell you, I've been missing this girl for years. I know you said 15 years. Okay, I've been missing her that long. So whatever she wants to do, she's welcome to come back. I'll support her. supporter as long as it's going to a good cause.
Wow, a lot of you did not expect the Avril support.
You seem anti-Avril. Talk to us.
I'm just saying it's a little odd. It's a little long ago, but you seem pro-Hornet and pro-Avril. Again, mac and cheese is back in your TVs. DBL, we are live, and coming up, Dr. Payal Kohli is back to answer more viewer questions about the coronavirus. You don't want to miss it. And from one medical pro to the next, Married to Medicine star Dr. Jackie gives Erica the scoop on her new book and has some advice to help us get through those days. And a shout out to all our employees who are producing from the show at home, wearing their pajamas. I need pictures. We love and appreciate you all. We'll be right back.
Pets are family.
Welcome back to DBL. And yes, Al is actually in the studio.
I'm here. I'm here.
Good one.
I feel like I appeared.
I know. I feel like you're Back to the Future in the photo.
Yes.
And come back.
There we go.
Right.
Nice timely reference. You're talking about Avril Lavigne 35 years ago.
1991. We're all about facts, not fear at DBL, and providing that information to keep you and your loved ones safe. And we have the lovely Dr. Payal Kohli. She joins us live, and she is in, floral. I love her in floral. Before we get to viewer questions, we talked earlier about lockdown fatigue hitting an all-time high and people wanting to get out. How do you convince people to keep sheltering when they are ready to go back to normal?
So Tori and Al, more than anyone, I want life to go back to normal as well, and I'm really anxious for that to happen. But I'm really worried that if we don't have a controlled start, we're going to take one step forward and 5 steps back. And we've seen this happen with the Spanish flu, where that second wave was much bigger and caused many more deaths because people got complacent after they flattened the curve with the first wave. So I have 2 arguments that I would use for people to convince them. The first is the scientific argument. We know there's a contagious virus out there. There's no vaccine. There's no treatment, and it spreads by close contact. So if you separate the people, that's the only way to stop the spread. So that's the scientific argument to get people to stay home. The second is the consequences argument. So think about the consequences of what you're doing. So, if we go out there and start getting out of the house because we're just tired of being home, that could lead to people dying, deaths that are potentially preventable. It could lead to a second hit to our economy, and it could lead to our healthcare system getting overwhelmed. So I would say think think about all of those things before you make that decision to go to the beach or go outside and do things that you can put off doing.
You heard it from the expert. Well, let's get to viewer questions. This was the first weekend a lot of people actually, places of worship reopened their doors. So Brenda asks, is it okay to go back to church if they're practicing social distancing and if I'm wearing a mask?
So the safest thing, Brenda, unfortunately, is for you to stay home and just participate in the service virtually, because we know a few things for sure. We know that gatherings, no matter what size, whether they're greater than 10 or less than 10, increase your risk of infection. We also know that closed indoor spaces like churches and restaurants and beauty parlors increase your risk of infection. So the safest thing really is to stay home. If you feel very strongly about going to church and really want to be present physically in church, then wearing masks and social distancing is the next best alternative, but it does increase your risk a little bit.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, Doc, first of all, great to talk to you from studio. It's been a long time.
You too, Al, they let you out of your house?
They did. I'm a free man. And I do want to pass this question on from my man, Tony. He's a viewer, and he says, can you explain herd immunity to me? I keep hearing about it, but I'm not sure what it means.
This is a really important concept scientifically and something that we're really counting on with this virus. So let's talk about what herd immunity is. It's basically the concept that you get immunity by being part of a herd or being part of a group of people. And essentially what that means is that if enough people in your herd actually become immune to the virus, it stops or slows the spread of the virus. And the reason is because those people that are immune can no longer spread the virus. So even though I may not have immunity, just by hanging out with Tori and Al, who both have immunity, I would be protected because they can't bring the virus to me. Now, there's two ways to get immunity. One is to get the virus and recover, and the other is to get vaccination. But in order for herd immunity to work, enough of the herd has to have immunity to slow down the spread. And for this virus, that's a 60 to 70% of people have to have immunity to this virus, either through prior infection or through vaccination. And currently, the WHO is estimating that only 2 to 3% of people across the world likely have immunity. So we have a ways to go with herd immunity, and that's why we're really counting on that vaccine to come through so that we can start using herd immunity to protect ourselves.
It's like Tom Hanks and like Rita Wilson and like one other person have immunity. So we got to slow it down here.
Right.
Before we go, it's time for what we all love. Dr. Coley's silver lining, l'chaim, everyone, to life. Today, you wanted to talk about the different ways people are helping out, even business owners.
Yeah, Tori. So, it's been a really rough time, and a lot of us have gotten knocked off our feet due to losing our jobs. And I found this very interesting because it's a novel way to actually find people jobs and get them back on their feet. So it's actually a company called Silver Lining. So they stole my thing, and I'll forgive them for that. But I have no ties to the company, but I do find it very nice because they're connecting people that are out of work with people that are looking for work. And mainly they're connecting people in technology jobs, which can be done remotely. So I think it's a really great way if you're somebody who's lost your job or can't work right now, to try to see if you can find someone who's looking for work that you can help out with and get yourself back on your feet.
Well, I'll take silver linings wherever I can get them, but you really make them glisten. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Dr. Coley. Of course, she will be back on Monday. She's like, oh, please. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. There's no panic here. Remember, there's just prevention and precautions and a little bit of love. We'll be right back.
The sun used to make our outdoor patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't even use it.
Then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter opens and closes in under 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And Sunsetters start at under $800.
But you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too. It transforms your outdoors from sweltering sun to shady oasis in just seconds.
Call now for this free awning idea kit, packed with great awning solutions that will let you enjoy your deck or patio much more often this summer. Plus, get this $200 discount certificate that will bring you your Sunsetter for as little as $599.
But this is a limited time offer. Call now.
Sunsetter retractable awnings are assembled in America, and they're guaranteed to last for years. And talk about options.
Choose from manual models or motorized for push-button ease with beautiful fabrics to fit every home. You can even add lights for nighttime enjoyment.
Welcome back to DBL. Married to Medicine's Dr. Jackie Walters has a new book out, and she told Erica all about it and how the pandemic has affected her in today's Chatting with the Stars. Check it out. Paging Dr. Jackie to Daily Blast Live. Dr. Jackie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
First, we are in the middle of this pandemic. Obviously, everyone's in quarantine. I'm just wondering, how are you as a doctor and medical professional handling this? Are you in your private practice right now?
I'm actually at the office right now. I saw patients this morning. We'll see a few patients this afternoon. I never really thought that it was affecting me. I'm like coming to work every day. The more I'm in it, the more I can find myself having those moments where I have to take a deep breath.
I think we kind of think of medical professionals, I mean, you've been an OBGYN for 20 years, and we think of you as superheroes because you are. How are you practicing self-care right now?
I talk to family a lot. My husband's at the house. Believe it or not, my staff feels like family, so I spend time with people and I spend quiet times just kind of releasing and talking about the day, journaling, anything I can do to just release it, I'm doing it.
Well, I think that we can all take a page from your book and, no pun intended. Speaking of book, The Queen Bee, and you call it a handbook for female empowerment. I think it's the perfect quarantine book right now because it really gives us the tools to understand things about our own bodies in our own time. Can you tell us about the quiz?
I have definitely given 5 personalities in the book. I am talking about the woman who handles her feminine and sexual health in different ways. You go in, you take the quiz, it'll tell you who you are, but what you'll learn is you may be a little bit of this and a lot of that. There's typically no pure personality. And what I wanted to do is just remove the stigma around feminine and sexual health for women. The book is your GYN on the table. Your book can be your good girlfriend who you can't get to on the table. So it has everything I could think of that I have seen and heard as an OBGYN for 23 years.
Now, I want to go back to what's happening in the world right now because obviously your state of Georgia, amongst the first to be reopening. How are you feeling about that as a medical professional?
I really thought we were opening a bit too early. You know, we had not met all of the criteria set up by the government. My patients were very nervous about it. I think people were having quarantine fever, but when they were released to go outside and, okay, you're free to go, I saw a lot of tears. I saw a lot of fear and anxiety. And I hope that we don't get a second wave of it, but it was too soon.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that way, including workers who have been standing up against protesters in order to get the states open. How are you feeling about, colleagues and peers who are now taking this very physical activism role?
I've never been prouder to be a part of this group of people ever before than now because we've come together as a team. Everybody's supportive. There are doctors who are not going home or can't go into their house and hug their kids. It's bittersweet in that I'm so proud of my colleagues, the nurses, all of the healthcare workers, especially the physicians who see the patients typically in the ER first. It warms my heart. It's been a totally new experience, and I'm so proud of my colleagues.
Dr. Jackie, thank you so much for spending time with us on Daily Blast Live.
Thank you, and thank you for watching Married to Medicine, and make sure you get your copies of The Queen Bee.
Absolutely. We are on it, sis. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Most of us are getting more screen time, so protect your eyes. Adults are spending more than 13 hours a day using screens. Doctors recommend a 20-20-20 approach. For every 20 minutes on computer, take a break. Also try to blink more to help your eyes from feeling dry. For affordable quality health care, call eHealth at 1-800-850-0679. We'll be right back. Oh, hi. Well, we're now on with Lindsay. How are you, Lindsay?